ERP, and retail systems. In his latest role, he has served as the Vice President of Global Industry 4.0 Business at Mindtree, where he has played a pivotal role in creating and positioning innovative Industry 4.0 offering various industries.
I was also the president of Group IT at Reliance, so there is no chance of failure for a digital transformation leader. So I think there have been multiple waves of my development as an individual and professional. MD of IoT business for Southeast Asia, about 13 countries.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Binu Anand at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulae for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such corporate stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Alok Srivastava. He's a remarkable individual with a distinguished career spanning over 3 decades in the fields of management, consulting, enterprise software systems, integration, and IT/OT infrastructure. His extensive experience and expertise have been instrumental in conceptualizing and launching numerous new businesses and leading major digital transformation projects across a wide range of industries, including customer packaged goods, that is CPG, retail, energy and utilities, telecom, financial services, and manufacturing. As a digital transformation leader, he has specialized in various areas, including strategy and technology consulting, Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, that is IoT, supply chain logistics, customer and supplier relationships, telecom OSS and BSS, ERP, and retail systems. In his latest role, he has served as the Vice President of Global Industry 4.0 Business at Mindtree, where he has played a pivotal role in creating and positioning innovative Industry 4.0 offering various industries. He is currently the Chief Business Officer for DHI.AI, which is a leading generative AI and Industry 4.0 startup and is helping clients globally to adopt AI for commercial use specific to their industries. Welcome, sir. And to start with, could you provide a brief overview of your career journey, highlighting key milestones and transitions in the field of management, consulting, and enterprising software systems integration and IoT/OT infrastructure?
Thanks, Vinu. So over the past 3 decades, I've been part of senior leadership teams at various IT and consulting firms like Accenture, where I was the MD of their CMT business, IBM, SAP, and Cisco. At Cisco, again, I was MD of IoT business for Southeast Asia, about 13 countries. I was also the president of Group IT at Reliance, where I led their digital transformation across multiple businesses over 4 years, as an evaluator of IT systems and products and systems and services. In my very early days at IBM, we were primarily engaged with CIOs, and we're looking at, the requirements for IT infrastructure, computing, storage, networking, all of that. And then as I graduated to SAP and I became a leader in SAP, our interactions grew more business, and we started talking about solving business problems for CFOs, CHROs, sales leaders, procurement chiefs, and all of that. Then when I moved to Accenture, that was, the pie on the cake, as we call it, because there we started engaging with the chairman, CEOs, and the C-suite of companies where, again, we're looking at solving their business issues, very critical business issues like sales falling, churn of employees, products not doing well, the branding issues. So a lot of those strategy issues is what I started looking at as an MD in Accenture. And then slowly the IoT and Industry 4.0 concepts came up, and where I joined Mindtree. And there again, I was leading the global business for IoT for Mindtree, Industry 4.0. And we engaged with who's who in manufacturing and CPG retail industry again, and banking, insurance, to start looking at how IoT and AI can start helping solve those problems for them. And I believe that I've been very lucky in riding all those waves, because whether it's hardware or software or consulting, or Industry 4.0, IoT, I've had that leadership roles in most of the companies that I named. And, I was lucky in talking to so many global enterprises through my career. So I think, very happy to be part of this journey, and, very, very enriching last 3 decades of my career, Vinu.
Wow, sir, amazing. Amazing, and a very extensive journey so far. Great. All the best wishes to you, sir.
Thanks, Vinu.
How would you define your role as a digital transformation leader? And what are the core principles that guide your approach in this domain?
I think in the last decade or so, as companies have started becoming more digital, and COVID, really played a very crucial role there by pushing everybody, even traditionally thinking companies, that they didn't want to go out of brick and mortar into, the web e-commerce space. Everybody was forced to sell online, right? Because there were no physical stores open anymore. So every line of business, traditional businesses, including construction and mining, started looking at how to do remote work, working from remote sites and not going to the field or to the manufacturing sites. And that led to a major digital transformation adoption by companies globally. And I think the role of a digital transformation leader is very crucial now, because there's so much evolving technology that are coming to fore now. Every day you hear about new things like generative AI and chat GPT and IoT, and making machines work remotely without going to the machine site. All of that, you need a very strong and visionary digital transformation leader who can help an organization to firstly conceive and understand what's happening around them in their specific industry, and then what is applicable to them in terms of easy adoption and success guaranteed, so that you don't invest many man hours and years of hard work and money and then fail, right? So there is no chance of failure for a digital transformation leader. You have to have people who have done this before and who bring proven success to the table. And then again, it's not just about technology, it's about enabling your companies to become digitally enabled, by fostering innovation, ensuring that you're staying competitive in that new digital landscape in India or globally, wherever you operate. So, so that's a very crucial part of it. And then, of course, all of this obviously, is led by data. Data used to lie in silos earlier in legacy systems. And then slowly, we started getting data from machines, from vehicles, from so many other sources. So you need to know what data you have to capture, what is noise, and you can leave it out, what is relevant to you, and how do you, really start getting into digital data space where you're able to create insights for your business and take decisions ahead of time. So that's, I think, broadly what the role of a digital transformation leader is. In terms of core principles, as you asked, it has to be, obviously, you understand the industry that you're working in, you understand the vision of where you want to take your company, and, align to your business objectives of the CEO and the chairman. You have to drive innovation culture. Obviously, you have to today, have sustainability as a core at the heart of everything that you do, right? Everything you do, the machines that you buy are actually not, guzzlers of fuel or energy. They're efficient. the workspace that you work in, is also efficient, and, you're not consuming too much power, and you are, optimizing it to the best possible way. So much data now, you have to look at data security, privacy, risk management. You have to also promote collaboration and cross-functional working of teams, because those days are gone now that finance will just say, I'm working in finance, I don't want to care about sales, or sales will say, I'm focused on my sales, profitability, the finance can handle, right? So everybody now in this digital world have to be cross-functional. We have to have measurable outcomes in KPIs, and everybody has to be very, very agile and adapt to the changing world around ourselves. So I think, just to summarize, if you adhere to these core principles, a digital transformation leader can really be the guiding beacon for the company and take them through this, turbulent times and uncertain digital landscape.
Thank you so much for sharing. Could you share some specific examples of successful digital transformation projects you have led, emphasizing the challenges faced and solutions implemented?
So, basically, I think digital transformation is very different for different industries. A bank can look at digital transformation, in terms of customer centricity, in terms of, processes that can make the efficient transactions online, many such aspects, right? Whereas a manufacturing company will look at how do I manufacture products which are more sustainable, consume lesser energy, reach my customers in good quality. So those are different challenges that you can look at. A utility company, for example, has to look at higher uptime of power or gas or water, whatever they're supplying, right? And lesser disruption to service. All of these, have been dealt with, for many, many years in the past as well. But with digital technologies now coming in, there are many ways you can do things much, much better. Things that you didn't even imagine could have happened earlier. So, for example, by use of AI, a utility company can now look at the health of their transformers that are distributing power in a city, and the machines themselves now tell the companies that, hey, I'm fatigued, please look at me and do some maintenance on me, otherwise I'll fail, right? So the technology is now evolving to being predictive, to being proactive, and helping the services to be much more dependable. That's for utilities. Now, for a banking company, we implemented a solution because the banks give loans to people, and especially the SME segment, the loan ticket sizes may be smaller, like 2-3 crores, but then the default rate is quite high, and they're obviously building many models to see the propensity of people not to pay and churn, right? And we've helped companies to do that using AI ML models as well, and a mix of IoT. So for a leading NBFC, we actually went ahead and put sensors on devices, or machines, equipment that they have loaned. And we could then look at, the machines being moved without permission of the bank, from site A to site B, for example, right? So because movement of machines is prohibited in a loan agreement without the consent of the bank. So the breach of geofences by those devices and tags is what we could do. We also could look at the analytics of, the vibration of the machine. That could tell us how long has the machine been working, what is the productivity of the machine, what is the revenue generated by the machine, by every hour that it worked. So many such aspects which were not possible earlier, we could enable the bank to look at it. Now, another example is a renewable energy company, like a solar power company, for example, right? So in India, as you know, if you're producing power, solar energy, and you're pumping it into the grid, the national grid or the state grid of power, and if you committed X, volume of power to be generated and pumped into the grid, and you don't meet that, then there is a penalty by the government. Even if you produce much more and are pumping more than the you had predicted to pump into the grid, even then there is a fine. So you are actually sitting on a double whammy. You have to just produce exactly what you had told the government you will produce today and put into the grid, and otherwise you're penalized either way, right? So, and many companies are struggling with that, right? Because there is no perfect model to predict energy generation, because it's dependent on sunlight, the intensity of sunlight, the solar irradiance, as we call it, the weather conditions, rain, cloud, the wind speed, which can blow the clouds away, all of that, right? So we actually built a model, a AI ML model, which was looking at multiple aspects of weather, looking at, the on ground past 6 years, 10 years history of what the weather was in that geolocation. And then we built models, on prediction of, weather and prediction of solar energy generation, which was much more accurate than many people had seen before. And for this one company that we did a pilot, in October, November last year, we helped save 71% of the penalty payout. So, I mean, just to summarize, these are different initiatives, different industries, but generative AI, ML, large language models, IoT, blockchain, these technologies are really playing a very crucial role in enabling these companies to become digitally enabled from traditionally how they were being driven earlier. I hope that gave you a good sense, of different industry mixes and what you can do with this kind of technology now.
Thank you for your inputs and your sharing your knowledge. I think it's very important for laymen like us to understand the way you've done it in such a good way. You made us understand in such a nice way. So,
Thanks.
with a keen interest in the digital and IT domain, how did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
That's actually a very good question. Thanks for asking that. So, I started my career, selling hardware, IBM, servers, mainframes, networking equipment, and all of that, right? So I think there have been multiple waves of, my development as an individual and professional, which is aligned to the way the IT and the business world were also evolving, right? So from selling hardware, I moved to SAP, and with SAP, I was trying to solve business issues of supply chain, customer relationship management, enterprise systems, financial procurement, all of that, right? So, and that was a very different world of applications and analytics and all of that. And then when I moved to Accenture, it was, a very different world altogether, talking about solving business issues, critical issues for CEOs, what made the CEOs, sit up in the night and sweat, right? Not being able to sleep peacefully. So those different initiatives, and I think I've written all those three waves of hardware, software, and consulting. And I think the main deliverable from any of these companies was, how do you become more efficient, right? How do you drive costs down? And consulting, world basically was trying to help people to do business process reengineering to again take out costs and inefficiencies from your business processes. I think sustainability and ESG is the next big wave, and that I'm very happy to be part of that right from the initial days, because even today, people talk about sustainability initiatives and ESG, but they're not very sure about how to go about it, right? I mean, where do you start? And this is the same thing that happened 20 years back, with the ERP and CRM and all of those applications. People didn't know how to get into it. Same thing with Industry 4.0. People, when you talk to the CEOs and CTOs, they say, we love the concept, tell us how to start, where to start, how to scope the entire thing so it becomes manageable. I think we're in the same spot right now for sustainability and ESG, where people are conscious, they want to be able to contribute to the society and enable greener energy and green initiatives, but they're not sure how to go about it. And I think so that's a beautiful place to be in for any individual, professional, and company like us, where we can advise companies on how to become more sustainable. And in my opinion, sustainability is not a cost anymore that people have to worry about. I think the returns are automatically there, because when you become sustainable, you become more efficient. So for example, when you're saving fuel cost, or energy cost in your factory, or you are saving, making your route optimized and saving fuel for your logistics, cost, then actually you're contributing to the society by becoming more sustainable. You're burning less fuel, right? Or you're consuming less energy. So that is sustainability. It's very simple. Basically, how do you control waste? How do you become more optimized? All of those initiatives will lead to cost savings automatically. So I think the next big wave after business process reengineering, after becoming more efficient by using ERP systems and all of that, is now. When you start looking at sustainability as ingrained in your company, in the processes, then you will automatically start saving more money and becoming more efficient. So I think that's what interested me, to become more aligned towards sustainability in ESG. And I'm very happy to be advising many, many large corporates today on their ESG journeys and discussions. At the same time, corporate governance, is another area that interests me tremendously, because I've seen companies all over the world, not only India, all over the world, recognizing that they need to be more responsible towards the work they're doing. So whether it is production of products in their manufacturing facilities, or treating the employees fairly, with social concerns, part of ESG again and corporate governance, or just being more having more empathy for their customers and for their employees. Because once you get that culture into the company, and you automatically become a very well-governed company. Corporate governance is all about policies and practices that used to direct and manage a company, which eventually lead to building trust with the employees, trust with your customers, your stakeholders, mitigating risks, because you are putting processes in place that will help you to mitigate risk. And when you do that, you're attracting investments, including, as you would have heard, green investments, because to the many banks, and investment firms who give you funds only if you say and prove, that you are sustainable and you're following those, processes which are sustainable on a long-term basis. So I think, corporate governance actually helps you to become more responsible as a business and attract, more funds and grow faster than you could have done before. And I think the guiding principles for any good corporate governance includes enhanced transparency, because you are setting processes, policies, and you're, inculcating your leadership teams and your managers to start adopting those. So you become much more transparent as a company, and people can look at it and say, oh, I love this company because, they talk about, things that they deliver very transparently, right? And once you put a framework of risk management, then your investors know that, you are actually not going to be at risk, because you have those processes in place, and, recognize your process for your industry, and you are, going to be more resilient to those changes. And of course, the last thing I would like to say is, the employee morale and productivity. Today, employees, if you ask them in an interview, who you want to join, one of the things that they will say is, I want to join a company not for money. That's of course very important, but also a company that shows a brand and a character of being more sustainable, more having more empathy for their employees, having a human face, right? I think that's very important right now. So I think, if you look at why I'm moving or gravitating towards ESG and corporate governance, is because I think it's the proverbial, icing on the cake, where everything that you've learned in the last 3 decades of your journey is coming and culminating into a very beautiful way that you can take this to the boardrooms of companies and inculcate that learning down from the top, right? So that's why I think it's very important that, as you were saying earlier, I think all of us, who are in this experience band, have to actually now inculcate that down, to the CEOs and the boards and, managers who are now driving businesses with these kind of values,
Thank you so much. So as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Okay, so basically corporate governance is all about, as I was saying earlier, building processes and policies which will ensure that you are driving the business in a very transparent manner. You are getting integrity and ethics introduced into the company, which are visible and are measurable, not just, talk of the town. You bring in accountability for every role, every board member, every manager of the company. You define very clear accountability. And then, of course, the stakeholder inclusivity, because what happens is, in a very large company, decisions may be taken which may actually not, consider all the stakeholders in the room, right? You may have a minority stakeholder, but, then, this kind of good corporate, culture ensures that you're taking care of everybody, right? So that's the important thing. And then you also are bringing in diversity and inclusion. You are bringing in very robust risk management frameworks in the company. You're looking at long-term perspectives, from your position, because what happens is the managers on the ground who are running after sales or, running after production of the, planned units in the shop floor cannot think long-term, right? I mean, that's not their job, right? So you are actually through this introducing a framework where you can bring in that long-term perspective of your business, and you see industry, around you globally and locally where you are, how that is impacting you, and bring in those digital transformation initiatives that I was talking about earlier. So I think if you look at the values that you bring to the table, it's all about integrity, accountability, ethics, inclusivity, diversity, and all of that, right? So all of that leading to two things. One is your employee well-being. The employee should feel happy to come to work every morning, and then your customers and stakeholders should feel that they're engaging with a very ethical company who have very high quality products, and they're not unreasonably priced, and then they're paying value for money, right? So that's what this role is all about,
Thank you so much for your valuable inputs. So coming to the next, given your expertise in IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, Industry 4.0, Web 3.0, and technology in general, with their impactful nature in the business landscape. So what are some of the most remarkable changes in your observance, and what changes do you foresee?
So I think, Vinu, as I was saying, about 3 decades back or 2.5 decades back, people were still struggling with legacy system, right? Data was siloed, sitting in different systems. HR was different system. Production was another system on the shop floor. Procurement was doing its own job. All that was solved by a ERP kind of system coming in, which integrated, all these systems into one. And so cross-functional interaction started happening more. And then with the introduction of IoT and AI, ML, and blockchain and Web 3.0, what has happened is you've solved the problem of silos, but then there is so much data now. Everything is generating so much data. Machines on the shop floor, vehicles on your road, your own employees, having so much data on their laptops and mobile devices. How do you bring it all together, and how do you take out the noise, as I call it, and just look at what is relevant to you and your business, right? That is where generative AI and large language models are coming in, and helping you to decide how do you really get the desired insight from that huge pile of data that you have today in your company, and how do you start looking at utilizing that for your business benefit and efficiency improvement, cost takeout, whatever be your objective, right? And I think the most important thing is that all of this is leading to a very beautiful world out there, where now machines are saying earlier are telling us that we are fatigued like a human being, right? Please take care of us, otherwise we will stop working, right? Anytime in next 4 hours, 10 hours. The prediction is coming in now by looking at data coming from machines directly. And I see generative AI like ChatGPT you've seen taking out drudgery from work. So all the mundane work can be automated completely. Even the thinking part sometimes can be automated, and you can just look at, validate that. And your workplace will become much more fun and intelligent now, right? Because that's what is going to happen. All that repetitive work is going to be taken over by machines, and bots, and LLMs and Gen AI will take over, right? So that is what's happening. And I think if you look at the fun side of it, with the dropping cost of chips, every pizza box can be embedded with the chip now, and it will have its own journey. So it will say what time the pizza left, the store where it is today, and how when it is hitting your doorstep. Not only that, how it was disposed of, right? So from a sustainability point of view, your plastic containers, for example, actually were they recycled or not, and when were they recycled? How did the process happen? You can track the entire life cycle of any product that you can conceive in your mind. I think that's very powerful, and that was not possible before, because we didn't have cloud, and we didn't have data capacity in the cloud, at the cost that we wanted. The cost of chips, that has come down to a few paise today. So all of that is helping the evolving digital transformation that you can look at. Any sphere of your business or your personal life is getting impacted by this new technology now.
Life is changing very rapidly with all these technologies, making
Right.
it easier also. And at times, you need to learn to understand that, right?
Yeah, that's a very important point. Just please add to that, if you don't mind. So I was talking
Yeah.
to a entertainment company, which makes serials, right? And they spend 3 to 5 weeks conceiving the next serial. What will be the theme? What will be the dialogues, and all of that, right? The storyline, and we create 20 next serials for them in 2 hours. 20 serials, 20 series of the serial, right? By using generative AI and some other tools that could generate that, including dialogues. And they were saying, we've never seen this before. How can you do this, right? So that's where the world is getting to. Beautiful the way you can do it.
Yes. It is actually simplifying our lives too.
Yeah,
To an
true.
extent, yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you do use it properly and the right way, you are going to definitely benefit.
Yes, you have to understand and use it the proper way, the right way, and then you're sorted. I mean, then it's
Right.
easier for everyone. Yes. Oh, thank you, sir. We are building a community of industry magnets. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Personally, think it's a very great initiative, and I will tell you why. I think most senior professionals, including myself, hesitate to join any professional forum because simply we think we'll be flooded with a lot of requests, right? It's not unhealthy. I'm just saying that, it's just the right use of your time at your level and kind of responsibilities you handle. And I think this forum is very different in that way because, you are actually meeting your peers and you're meeting very select set of people in this forum who are sharing their ideas and, their experiences very transparently. And I've had the chance to work with some of them and talk to some of them. They talk about the dynamics in a boardroom. They talk about anecdotes which are very, very educational, and they guide you on how to handle situations which are very tricky in the boardroom, for example, right? So I think a fabulous initiative. I think with this exclusivity that you're building in, you will get more and more members coming in at our level. Um, it's very difficult to attract people to any forum like this, which is so exclusive and so senior. But I think you're doing a great job there. All the best to you.
Thank you so much for your kind and inspiring words. Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Alok sir, for joining us today. Wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vinu. Thanks for having me on this. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Bye-bye.